अथ gatāgata-parīkṣā नाम dvitīyaṁ prakaraṇam.
gatāgata-gamyamāna-parīkṣā nama dvitīyaṁ prakaraṇam. MMK Chapter 2. Exploration of the visited, the not yet visited, and the now being visited.
gatāṁ na gamyate tāvad agataṁ naiva gamyate gatāgata-vinirmuktaṁ gamyamānaṁ na gamyate.
Gataṁ na gamyate tāvad, agataṁ naiva gamyate, gatāgata-vinirmuktaṁ gamyamānaṁ na gamyate. The already visited right now is not visited. The not yet visited most certainly is not visited. The now being visited, liberated from the already visited and the not yet visited, is not visited.
ceṣṭā yatra gatis tatra gamyamāne caṣṭā yataḥ nāgate ceṣṭā gamyamāne gatis tataḥ.
ceṣṭā yatra gatis tatra gamyamāne caṣṭā yataḥ nāgate ceṣṭā gamyamāne gatis tataḥ. Where there is bodily action, there is a way to go. And because that action is in the now being visited, not in the already visited or the not yet visited, therefore, in the now being visited, there is a way to go.
tataḥ. gamyamānasya gamanam katham nāmopapatsyate gamyamāne dvitīyaṁ yada naivopapadyate.
Gamyamānasya gamanam katam nāmopapadyate gamyamānaṁ vigamanam yada naivopapadyate. How, pray, will visiting of the now being visited take place, when it is not at all possible, without the visiting, for there to be a now being visited?
Anasya gamanam yasya tasya prasajyate rite gatir gamyamānaṁ hi gamyate.
Gamyamanasya gamanam yasya tasya prasajyate rite gatir gamyamānaṁ hi gamyate. For whoever there is visiting of the now being visited, there follows a now being visited without a way to go, because the now being visited is being visited.
Gamyamānasya gamane prasaktam gamanadvayam yena tad gamyamānaṁ sa yatra gamanam punaha.
Gamyamanasya gamane prasaktam gamanadvayam yena tad gamyamānaṁ cha yatra gamanam punaha. In visiting of the now being visited, twofold visiting is implicated, whereby there is the now being visited in question and, at the same time, whatever visiting there is at this locality.
Dvau gantarau prasajyete prasakte gamanadvaye gantaram hi tiraskritya gamanam nopapadyate.
Dvau gantarau prasajyete prasakte gamanadvaye gantaram hi tiraskritya gamanam nopapadyate. Twofold going having been implicated, two goers follow, for going is impossible apart from a goer.
गन्तारं चेत्तिरस्कृत्य गमनं नोपपद्यते गमने सति गन्ताथ उत एव भविष्यति
Gantaram cettirascritya gamanam nopapadyate gamane sati gantata kuta eva bhavisyati. If going is impossible apart from a goer, then where there is no going, how on earth will there be a goer?
गन्ता न गच्छति तावत् अगन्ता नैव गच्छति अन्यो गन्तुरगन्तुश्च कस्तृतीयो हि गच्छति
Ganta na gacchate tāvad aganta naiva gacchati anyo gantura gantuscha kastritio tagacchati. A goer right now does not go. A non-goer most certainly does not go. What third one then, being different from the goer and the non-goer, does go?
गन्ता तावद् गच्छति इति कथमेवोपपत्स्यते गमनेन विना गन्ता यदा नैवोपपद्यते
Ganta tāvad gacchati katamevopapatsyate gamanena vina ganta yada naivopapadyate. How will it ever be possible that a goer right now is going, when it is not at all possible for there to be a goer without an act of going?
पक्षो गन्ता गच्छति इति यस्य तस्य प्रसज्यते गमनेन विना गन्ता गन्तुर्गमनमिच्छतः
Paksho ganta gachatiti yasya tasya prasajyate gamanena vina ganta gantur gamanam ichataḥ. For that goer, desirous of an act of going, who holds the view that a goer goes, there follows a goer without an act of going.
गमने द्वे प्रसज्येते गन्तायद्युत गच्छति गन्तेति चुच्यते येन गन्ता सन् यच्च गच्छति
Gamane dve prasajyete ganta yadyuta gacchati ganteti chajyate yena ganta sanyacha gacchati. If a goer does indeed go, two acts of going follow, one by which a goer is manifested as a goer, and the one which the existing goer is going on with.
गते नारभ्यते गन्तुं गतं नारभ्यते गते नारभ्यते गम्यमाने गन्तुमारभ्यते कुह
Gate narabhyate gantum, gantum narabhyate gate, narabhyate gamyamāne, gantum arabhyate kuha. Going is not started in the already visited. Going is not started in the not yet visited. Going is not started in the now being visited. Where is it started?
न पूर्वं गमनारम्भात् गम्यमानं नवागतं यत्रारभ्येत गमनम् agate gamanam kutah
Pragasti gamanarambad gamyamānaṁ nano gatam yatra rabhyeta gamanam agate gamanam kutah. Before the start of going, there is neither a now being visited nor an already visited, in which going might be started. In the not yet visited, from where does going stem?
gatam kim gamyamanam kim agatam kim vikalpyate adrishyamana arambhe gamanasyaiva sarvatha.
Gatam kim gamyamanam kim agatam kim vikalpyate adrishyamana arambhe gamanasyaiva sarvata. How is the already visited? How is the now being visited? And how is the not yet visited conceived, when the start of going itself is nowhere to be seen?
Ganta na tisthati tāvad aganta naiva tisthati anyo ganturagantuscha kastritiyoṭha tisthati.
Ganta na tisthate tāvad aganta naiva tisthati anyo gantura gantuscha kastritiyoṭha tisthati. The goer, right now, does not stop still. The non-goer most certainly does not stop still. What third one then, being different from the goer and the non-goer, does stop still?
Ganta tāvad tisthati kathamevopapatshyate gamanena vina ganta yada naivopapadyate.
Ganta tāvad tisthati kathamevopapatshyate gamanena vina ganta yada naivopapadyate. How will it ever be possible that a goer right now is standing still, when it is not at all possible for there to be a goer without an act of going?
Na tisthati gamyamanan nagatan nagatadapi gamanam sampravrittischa nivrittischa gatehe sama.
Natisthate gamyamanan nagatan nagatadapi gamanam sampravrittischa nivrittischa gatehe sama. Not on the grounds of the now being visited, nor on the grounds of the already visited, and still less on the grounds of the not yet visited, does going stop. There is stepping forth, and there is stepping back, like there is a way to go.
Yadeva gamanam ganta saeveti na yujyate anya eva punarganta gateriti na yujyate.
Tadeva gamanam ganta saeveti na yujyate anya eva punarganta gateriti na yujyate. It is not workable that the very act of going is the goer himself. It is not workable again that the goer is altogether other than the way to go.
Yadeva gamanam ganta saeva hi bhaved yadi eki bhavaha prasajjeta kartuhu karmana eva ca.
Tadeva gamanam ganta saeva hi bhaved yadi eki bhavaha prasajyeta kartuhu karmana eva ca. For if going and goer were one and the same, the identity would follow of agent and action itself.
Anya eva punarganta gatir yadi vikalpyate gamanam syadrite gantur ganta syad gamanadrite.
Anya eva punarganta gatir yadi vikalpyate gamanam syadirte gantur ganta syad gamanadrite. If, again, the goer were conceived to be altogether other than the way to go, there would be an act of going without a goer, and there would be a goer without an act of going.
Eki bhavena va siddhir nana bhavena va yayoho na vidyate tayoho siddhi katham no khalu vidyate.
Eki bhavena va siddhir nana bhavena va yayoho na vidyate tayoho siddhi katham no khalu vidyate. Where there is no establishment of two parties as identical or as different, how on earth can there be establishment of those two?
Gatyaya yochyate ganta gatim tam sanagatsati yasmanna gati purvosti kaschit kinchid hi gacchati.
Gatyaya yajyate ganta gatim tam sanagachyati yasmanna gati purvosti kaschit kimchiti gacchati. A goer does not visit that way by way of which he is manifested. And that is why, prior to the way he goes, he is not there. For somebody is visiting something.
Gatyaya yochyate ganta tatunyam sanagatsati gatidve nopapadyete yasmadeke pragacchati.
Gatyaya yajyate ganta tatonyam sanagachyati gatidve nopapadyete yasmade katragantari. A goer does not visit another way besides that way by which he is manifested. And that is why two ways to go are impossible where there is one goer.
Adbhuto gamanam ganta triprakaram nagacchati na sadbhuto gamanam triprakaram sagacchati.
Sadbhuto gamanam ganta triprakaram nagacchati na sadbhutopi gamanam triprakaram sagacchati. An existent goer does not visit visiting of three kinds. One who does not exist also does not visit visiting of three kinds.
Gamanam sadasadbhutas triprakaram nagacchati tasmat gatischa ganta cha gantavyam cha na vidyate. Tasmat gatischa ganta cha gantavyam cha na vidyate.
Gamanam sadasadbhutaha triprakaram nagacchati tasmad gatischa gantacha gantavyam cha na vidyate. One who does and does not exist does not visit visiting of the three kinds. Or one who is truly beyond being right does not visit visiting of three kinds. On these grounds, there is no way to go and no goer, and there is no place to go and visit. On these grounds, there is no way to go and no goer, and there is no place to go and visit. So on what grounds is there no way to go, no goer, no place to go and visit? The concluding line says, gatis navidyate, a way to go is not found. But verse 2 says, ceṣṭā yatra gatis tatra, where there is bodily action, there is a way to go. That's Nishijima Sensei's philosophy of action right there. That's the thesis. That's the truth. Where there is action, there's a way to go. That's a story of my life. Going down, lifting weights at lunchtime when I was 13, 14, playing rugby, karate, zazen. Whatever shitstorm I've found myself wading through, I've always found liberation in physical action, especially guided by Alexander's teaching of how to use yourself well while giving yourself to that physical action. But then in the concluding line, he's saying, on these grounds, there is no way to go. So what's the grounds for saying there's no way to go? That's the question for people who chant the Heart Sutra in Japanese, Mu, Geni, Bize, Shini, no, none of the six, Mu. There is no eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, etc. Muchi, Yakumu, Doku, Imu, Shodoku, Ko, Bodai, Satae, Hanya, Haramita. No, there's no wisdom. There's no attainment. There's nothing to attain. Therefore, the Bodhisattva relies on wisdom as the accomplishment of wisdom. That's what the Heart Sutra is based on. It's Nāgārjuna's teaching of wisdom. So why does the Heart Sutra say there is no? What are the grounds for the Heart Sutra saying there is no wisdom, there is no attainment, there's nothing to attain? That's gataṁ navidyate. There's no place to go and visit. That's the Heart Sutra saying the same thing. Mu shodoku. There's no attainment. Mu shodoku ko. Therefore, there's no attainment. Therefore, bodhisattva e hanya haramita. The Bodhisattva relies on the accomplishment, the transcendent virtue of prajna, wisdom. So on what grounds is there no place to go and visit? On what grounds is there no way to go? Despite the fact in verse 2 you just emphasised that ceṣṭā yatra gatis tatra, where there is action there is a way to go. So on what grounds is there no way to go? We've got to look deeper than, it's no use just trying to understand it literally, because it's contradictory. You can't say, emphasise where there is action, there is a way to go, and then you go and say the next minute there is no way to go. It doesn't make sense unless you understand tāvad on these grounds. So on these grounds, to understand the real grounds on which he's saying it, the clues are in verse 18, verse 15, and then in the first line of the concluding verse. So both verse 8 and verse 15 ask a question. Okay, they don't say something definitively, but they ask a question. Anyogantuscha, anyogantur-agantuscha, one who is different from the goer and the non-goer. Castritiota gachyati, or castritiyota tishtati. Ka, what? Tritio, third one. Ta, then. Gacchati, goes, or tishtati, stops or stays still, stands still, sits still. So what I would like to suggest, based on my experiences with the Alexander technique, as well as Master Dogen's instructions in Zazen, sabutsu hakaru koto nakare, don't try to become Buddha. See, in the Alexander technique, particularly by Marjorie Barlow, she really strongly emphasised to me that there's no future in trying to be right. Trying to be right causes you to fix. And when you stop trying to be right, that sets a person free. So, verse 8 asks the question, is there a different one who does go? Verse 15 asks, is there a different one who does stop or stand still, who does sit still? So the question I'm asking about the first line of verse 25, is there a different one like that? Because that one is truly sad beyond a sadbhuta, being right. So Nāgārjuna doesn't make a definitive statement about it, but let's remember that the title of all the chapters of MMK there's something parīkṣā. It's exploration. So this is something for everybody to explore. Is there? It's not up for discussion whether there's an existent goer, a self-existing goer. That's not up for discussion. The Buddha's teaching is clearly that a self-existing goer is an illusion. That's prapancha. That's spinning into existence what doesn't exist separately. Okay, and so if there's no self-existing goer, there can't be an absence of a self-existing goer. So you can't say a goer exists or doesn't exist. That much is clear. There's no need. That's not up for discussion. What's up for exploration is what is there in the middle of those two. What is there? There's the teaching of dependent arising. But again, the teaching of dependent arising is pratitya samutpada. And pratitya samutpada means springing up altogether by going back. And that springing up altogether doesn't mean springing up of intellectual understanding. It means springing up. It means springing up altogether. Samutpada, a kind of an integral awakening, one might say, but not an intellectual recognition. So again, it's what he means by on these grounds. So on these grounds might be the grounds of exploration, but not only intellectual exploration. And the exploration in question, exploration has within it the sense of not knowing, not being the one who knows. Either last year or the year before, an Alexander colleague, reminded me of very profound words by an Alexander teacher named Walter Carrington. We are explorers. That, as Alexander technique teachers, we're not the ones who know. We're explorers. Because being know and being the one who knows and being right are very much bound up together. That's been my experience, struggling with wanting to be the one who's got his dirty paws on it, to use the words of Nellie Benall. She would often sort of joke that I wanted to get my dirty paws on it. I wanted to be the one who knows, as opposed to the explorer, the one who doesn't know, but he's there. So I'm suggesting that sad buddha, to me, not directly, but indirectly, they suggest this thing of being not the one who knows, not the one who's right, but the one who's beyond sad buddha, the one who's beyond being right, being real. And not only intellectually, but truly sad buddha. So what that means in practice, so Master Dogen taught in his instructions for Zazen, Sunowachi shōshin tanza shite hidari ni sobadachi migi ni katamuki mai ni kugumari shirie ni au koto e zare. So sunowachi, just shōshin, straight body, true body, tanza, erect sitting up straight, shite, doing that, hidari ni sobadachi, leaning to the left, migi ni katamuki, leaning to the right, mae ni kugumari, slumping forward, ushiro ni aogu koto, hyperextending back, letting the chin come up, koto nakare, don't do all that stuff. Okay, so you want to, what does it mean to sit upright, to sit up straight, making the body true, making the body right, shōshin. It means don't incline to the left, don't incline to the right, don't slump forward, and don't arch back. Aogu means to look up, you see. So aogu koto nakare means don't arch back. So those are Master Dogen's quite clear instructions about how to sit. How do people react to them? Well, you have, if you go into your dojo in Japan, you have two kinds of extreme response. You've got the passive Japanese student who just sits there saying, you know, I'm just here, that's all I've got to do is be here, and by osmosis somehow I'll pick up the sensei's teaching. And then you've got the other ones, number one dojo in Japan, you know, so that subtly they're going against the teaching, either by being too lazy to try and follow it, or by making too much effort to follow it. Because if you try to sit upright, you get aogu koto, you get the arching back. But it doesn't fit. People who do this don't realise they're doing it. They feel it's upright. So in that situation, Alexander Work says that your feeling is corrupted. There's no use doing zazen on the basis of what feels right. You've got to give up the conception of a right posture, which is a non-empty conception, and in its place, think. Use your reason. Think out what it is to direct your spine upwards in such a way that you don't hold your breath and tighten. Direct your spine upwards in such a way as the back lengthens and widens. And that's helped by setting the knees forward away and so on. Let the head go forward and up, of course. So what I'm suggesting in the end is that truly to come back to the middle way and to explore the grounds on which Nāgārjuna says there is no way to go, there is no goer, there is no place to go and visit. The best way, well, the way that I found works for me, find yourself somewhere quiet in nature and direct the head forward and up in the middle way. Now, in order to do that, you have to be, the first thing is you have to truly be the one who's beyond being right. Sada sadbutaha. Ganta, the goer. Ganta, who is truly sad, beyond being right. Asadbutaha. And the golden key to that gate of true Dharma is expressed by Madhuribala like this. Listen, love. To be prepared to be wrong is the golden key. Because if you're not prepared to be wrong, which is the same as being prepared to be the explorer, there's no alternative apart from trying to be right. And trying to be right is a stake to tie a donkey for 1,000 years. And then finally, what I'd like to add, apropos the middle way, and neither the two sides, left and right. Last night on YouTube, I watched Dave Rubin on the Rubin report when he had Niall Ferguson on there in May of 2018, and in economic terms, what Niall Ferguson was saying there was a leading indicator that we're really going in a wrong direction. See, in economics, you've got lagging indicators like what's the employment situation. That's like looking in the rearview mirror, and you've got what's going on now, which is looking at from side to side. But you've got these leading indicators. When I used to work for an economist in Japan, he had a person who went around all the his job was to go around all the machine tool makers in the industrial part of Tokyo and report back on what was the orders for machine tools, and that was a hugely leading indicator what was going to happen in the economy like 6 months down the road. So that was really valuable information, because the machine tool makers would make the machines that would make tools that people would use for making stuff. So it was a leading indicator. And that interview of Dave Rubin and Niall Ferguson is a leading indicator that we're heading for some really dangerous times. Because Niall Ferguson was talking about what's been happening more and more in university departments that have been taken over by the left. And he was talking about the groupthink of these leftists. And in my own way, I've experienced something similar, because Buddhist monks that I've brushed up against tend to be of that persuasion. They're leftist group thinkers, using they virtue signal compassion to each other, and they're very much against anything the heresy which they think of as hate speech. Just from my personal experience, I see how dangerous it is. And you see, one antidote to it is Nāgārjuna's teaching of the middle way. Another antidote to it is F.M. Alexander's teaching. I've mentioned it before, but his second book is called Constructive Conscious Control of the Individual. And someone said, that's a bit of a mouthful, FM. Why don't you drop off of the individual for a saving of 3 words? No, don't you realise that's the most important part? It's being an individual, learning how to think. Learning how to think does not mean subscribing to a bunch of fucking groupthink rubbish. It's just as Jordan Peterson says, these people on the left, you know their arguments to everything because they don't think for themselves. They're just spouting the platitudes, the orthodox doctrine. So on these grounds, there's no place to go and visit. Every person has to understand for themselves what those grounds are. That's what I want to say. It's not on theoretical grounds that you can all agree to on a groupthink basis. You have to fucking do the work yourself. You see, the most glaring thing for me was when my Zen teacher, best lesson he could have given me in a way, if only he'd been conscious, but he wasn't. He had perceived that I'd gone over to the other side, which was just his misunderstanding. He didn't realise. He thought that the Alexander technique is about thinking, therefore it must be like the white man's civilization. I've gone back over to the white man's intellectual culture side, as opposed to the practical yellow man. That's how he saw it. I'd gone over to the other side. And Gabriel Linebacker said to me, it doesn't matter, Mike, it's his problem. No, but it did matter, because what happened is that a bunch of his group thinking Dharma heirs that came to him later in his life, and they were mainly interested in getting his Dharma. They wanted the certificate, the stamp of approval. They weren't so much interested in thinking for themselves, you know. So I was confronted at the end of his life with this kind of Zen orthodoxy. People were on his side, and obviously I was the enemy, the Mr. Angry, the heretic, the black sheep, the one who went wrong, as James Cohen eloquently put it. So I've been on the receiving end in a small way of that kind of compassionate groupthink, and it really sucks. And somehow part of that is my struggle with resentment. I've already translated MMK in 2017 to 2018. So what kind of effort am I making with these videos? Well, part of it is just for my own benefit. It helps me to deepen my understanding, expressing it out loud like this. But everybody wants to be helpful. And it's been suggested to me in the course of doing this chapter that I'd be more helpful if I had a more compassionate demeanour. People would find it helpful if they sensed my kindness, my compassion coming through. And so my first response to that is to want to do the right thing, make an effort in that direction. But then something within me wants to say, no, fuck that for a game of cards. Because I spent many years teaching the Alexander technique and working as a reflex therapist, which is kind of caring work. And it required an effort for me to hide my resentment, really. Having lived in France now for a couple of years on my own, it's safe for me here to be resentful as I like. You know, it's my party. I'll cry if I want to. So I have a choice, is the point. And I'm not sure if I want to go down the face of compassion route. You know, I feel more like I want to fight groupthink. I think it's important that I don't make my people my enemy so much. That would be the thing I would go wrong if I target people rather than their wrong views. But I am a bit of a fighter, and I think I'd like this making videos, this effort. I don't want anybody to be on my side. I'm not into people taking sides with me, but the effort really, I don't see the far right as being much of a danger. the danger that I was talking about, the leading indicators in economics. The leading indicators is what you can see where things are coming down the road, and the leading indicators for where we're going as a society was what's going on in universities. And so the fact that, as Niall Ferguson was explaining in the aforementioned interview, universities have been increasingly being captured by the left. And then in Britain, you've got the prospect of Jeremy Corbyn, out and out socialist, becoming Prime Minister. Those are, to me, a frightening prospect. So in conclusion, faking a face of compassion. I'll soften behind the eyes and do a whispered R. And with all due compassion, I would like to say, think for yourself, you sodding loser.